Hello and welcome. My name is Sarah of Crystal Nutrition. I am an energy healer, spiritual intuitive, and a holistic nutritionist. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. From time to time, I like to pop on here either doing channeled meditations, videos on various spiritual topics. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling, how the energy is flowing, etc. I woke up this morning feeling called to make a video on this topic, which is healing the mother and father wound, how to alchemize the mother and father wound, especially when it comes to your romantic relationship. So I'm not entirely sure how this video is going to go or what exactly I'm going to say. I did write some notes down here. I do have a little altar with some cards and some sprays off camera. The sprays that I have today are the Silver Moon Mist. So these are sprays that I make if it's your first time here. The Ancestral Roots and the Sacred Trinity. So Sacred Trinity is Divine Masculine, Silver Moon is Divine Feminine, and Ancestral Roots is ancestral, because we are looking at mother and father wounds, and sometimes some genetic pattern healing can come through with that. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about this. The first thing that I want to get into before we even start talking about the mother or the father wound is to talk about inner child healing. We cannot talk about the mother and father wound without just lightly touching inner child healing and touching base on that. So what is inner child healing? So inner child healing is exactly what the name says. It is healing, energetically healing your inner child. By the way, there's a lot of different ways or tools or roadmaps to do this work and to bring healing to these areas of your life. I'm giving my spiritual perspective and spiritual tools on this, but there are ways to uncover this and bring healing to these areas, like going to therapy, talking with a professional about this, and just other ways to work through this. So this is not the only way to do this. This can also complement other modalities that you're using in your healing journey. But this video is all about the spiritual perspective and the energetics behind this type of healing. Okay, so inner child healing is healing that inner child. Whenever I do energy work on someone, I always come to, if I'm working on the chakras, once we get into the heart can represent as well heart, love, divine love, so heart chakra healing energy. So sometimes there's mediumship once I get to the heart, or we go into the lungs, because that's where grief is held. So usually if I'm doing one-on-one energy work with somebody, we might work our way up through the chakras and access any pain, body memories, or grief energy that needs to come up. And that's usually when mediumship comes through, or I start to facilitate mediumship, is in the heart. But what also comes through in the heart sometimes as well, depending on the needs of the individual, depending on the highest good of what they need on that particular day that they come to see me, they also might have energies come up in that heart chakra of inner child and inner child wounding and healing. So an archangel that I really enjoy working with for this is Archangel Gabriel, and working with the emerald ray. So the heart chakra emerald ray healing with Archangel Gabriel. And I always see the inner child as pretty small, like a small energy in the heart. So for me, this shows me that although we may no longer be those children, there's still, or that size, there's still a cellular memory or imprint energetically in the field that represents the essence of your inner child. So when we look at inner child healing, one of the first things that we do is we bring in that emerald ray. We connect with the inner child. So I always say whatever age resonates with you, where you feel like maybe the most stuff happened to you, or whatever age there was a lot of chaos that was experienced, etc. Just to visualize yourself at that age, and don't play with it too much. Just whatever the first age that comes to mind, that's the energetic essence that you want to work with. So bringing that to the forefront with your third eye, this can be done via meditation. This can be done with an experienced energy healer that knows what they're doing and knows how to hold the space. But connecting with that version of yourself, a really helpful way to do energy healing for the inner child is writing a letter. So you can write a letter to your inner child. And you can do this by physically writing a letter, or you can enter a meditation and do this as well, just calling in your angels and guides and sealing with the white light or the holy fire, just so we really seal that template for you when you get into the meditation. But whatever works for you. Some people might prefer to actually write this out, or some people might prefer to just meditate and say these things in their mind. But basically communicating to your inner child everything that you wish somebody would have told you at that age, whether it would have been a parental figure or some sort of adult figure, so an aunt, an uncle, etc., trusted older friend. What would you have wished someone would have said to you, and to communicate that to your inner child? And if there's anything you feel like you need to apologize to your inner child for, in terms of, I'm sorry that this happened to you, I'm sorry that you went through this, I'm sorry that you felt that there was nobody there to protect you, I'm sorry that there was nobody there to protect you. And sending them the love, support, guidance, wisdom, and protection that they didn't have at that age, but you as your older self, more mature self, can send that healing energy back to your inner child. And it sort of just seals the loop. And it sounds really trippy, and it sounds really, I don't know, trippy or confusing or like timeline jumping, but it's really not. It's just you sending across all directions of time and space and dimensions. You're sending in white light, sending in healing, and sending in love. You can do this with all past versions of yourself, by the way, not just childhood, so teenage years, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. If there was a really chaotic point of time in your life where you experienced a lot of heaviness or a lot of loss or a lot of transitions or a lot of negativity or a lot of struggles, etc., challenges, you can send light to past versions of yourself to heal. You can also do this for past life healing as well. But sending white light all the way back, as far back as you need to go for this healing to be able to occur. And setting the intention, really important to set the intention for the highest good of all involved, nothing more or nothing less. So even if we just want to keep it simple, especially for beginner's sake, or if you're new to this, but getting into a meditation, hands on your heart chakra, connecting with the green ray, connecting with Archangel Gabriel energy, asking to connect with your inner child to set the intention for love, light, and divine healing, and putting a ring of holy fire around you as you do this. This is with your third eye visualization, spiritual activation in the field. So we have to also set the field when we do this work, because we don't want any energy leaks in the aura, or we don't want, if we don't set up the field correctly before we do this type of work, it can get a little messy in terms of other energies can come in, or the information that can come in can be diluted or it can be confusing, etc. So we really want to set the field. How do you set the field? You could use a spray if you want to set the field. They're not just my sprays, there's other sprays that help to clear energy in a space. You could use the visualization of the holy fire. Holy fire is really good because it really just alchemizes right away anything that is not in alignment for the highest good, or anything that is of a lower vibration. It really just keeps that out and repels that. Working with the white light of the Holy Spirit. These are all things that I use in my energy work and that resonate for me, but if there's other tools or other energies that you prefer to use, you're welcome to use that. This is sort of just like I'm giving you the lay of the land in terms of the way that I do things and the way things work for me, but there's always wiggle room and things that are left to interpretation, and I want you to use this information for yourself as a baseline, and then intuitively as you get more comfortable, if there's little things you want to change here or there, or things that resonate more, I want you to have the freedom to be able to do that. But really important that you set, or you can also burn sacred herbs, so smudging, incense, sage, etc. Yeah, so just really lighting a candle as well, but you really need to seal. So that's why I'm recommending the holy fire. And if it's not holy fire, it has to be something else, but you need to seal the field first before you call in your angels and your guides for grounding, before you ask to connect with Archangel Gabriel and your inner child, etc. Then I ask to connect with the emerald ray, and I bring that in, and I bring that in through the heart chakra. And then I'm just breathing in and out, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Nice, slow, intentional breaths and breathing here. And then once I connect with the inner child, you might actually see them in your mind's eye. You could also have a picture on the altar, or put a picture on your heart chakra of yourself as a child at the age that you would like to send healing. And once you connect with that energy, then I invite you to either start writing out the letter, or you could even talk out loud if you want, just to talk out loud if it's just you in your room, or just in your mind to have that conversation, to just, you know, if you feel like there's anything you need to apologize for, if you feel like there's anything you would like to say in terms of, maybe some examples could be how much you love them, support them, appreciate them, how amazing they are, how it's okay to make mistakes, not everybody is perfect. Just basically anything that could have really helped you at that time that you wish somebody would have said to you, to communicate all of those things to the inner child. And once you've finished with everything that you like to say, it's really important to then send them that love energy, that healing energy, that white light. So we're just gonna send them white light, and you can even send the white light just around their aura, or the trace of the aura, and you can see the white light start to spread out so that it eventually slowly covers their whole aura. You can also work with gold energy for this, and also bring in the emerald ray. So those are 3 different color healing frequencies I'm giving you that you can work with. You can work with all 3, you can work with 2, you can work with 1. I want you to intuitively decide which one resonates for you the most and work with those colors. But those 3 colors are great. I'm sorry, I actually just realized after I said that those are kind of the 3 colors of the sprays that I chose for this video, right? So we have the gold, we have green, emerald ray, and then silver could be interpreted as white, right? Like the white light. That's really cool. Okay, so that ended up being more of a how to do inner child healing. So that was a bit of an intro. Now, I would recommend doing that and then stopping. Once you feel like that's complete, you thank the inner child for stepping forward and allowing you to work with him or her. You thank Archangel Gabriel for allowing you to work with him or her as well. With him. I associate Archangel Gabriel as a male energy. Some do female or both, but for me, I always say it's a him. And yeah, thanking your angels and your guides for support, for their grounding and their guidance. And when you're done, it's really important to close the doors. So you close all, so you say this out loud, I close all. Thank you everyone. You thank all of them for allowing me to work with you. I'm now getting ready to close off the field. So sometimes what can happen too is the inner child energy can really get really small and then go right back into the heart, for it always lives on in our heart. We always carry a piece of us, different versions of us in our heart space. So that might happen, or I've also seen where the inner child energy kind of links up or joins, holds hands with Archangel Gabriel and the emerald ray, and the 2 of them kind of walk off together to continue doing healing. You can also ask Archangel Gabriel to for any extra healing that needs to be done. yeah, sorry if this is a little all over the place. I wasn't expecting to talk about the like the nitty-gritty so much of the inner child healing, but it makes sense that I'm explaining sort of how I do it, how it comes through for me. So I'm just making sure that I'm not missing anything. Yeah, so you thank them for allowing you to work with them, and then however they are going to go away or fade in the background or get absorbed into your heart chakra with the inner child. And then you come down and you say, okay, I'd now like to close off my field. Thank you to my angels and guides for the grounding and protection. I close all 12 doors in all 12 directions, so that's in your field, and I seal each door with the holy fire. So this will make sure that we don't leave any doors open. This is really good too if you are an energy healer that does shamanic work or past life stuff. Anything in the word I'm getting is like the quantum field, but anything like any like big heavy duty energy work where we're healing different parts of someone or even of ourselves, it's really important that we keep it clean. We set the field before, we set the intention, and then when we close, we acknowledge, we give thanks and gratitude to everyone, and then we close all the doors and we seal with fire. We don't want to leave any doors open. We don't want to have any weird dreams at night. We don't want to allow any other energies to come in. No. Healthy, clear boundaries for spiritual work. I feel like I gotta like keep it clean, and when you're done, you're done. You blow out the candle, you close off your channel, you come back down into your body. I usually do the sign of the cross and you just come back. And then what I like to do after energy work, whether I've done it on myself or facilitated for somebody else, is I like to wash my hands. So I will go and wash my hands right after, just so that really helps, I feel, to just cleanse that out of my field. Okay, so that is a little bit about inner child healing. Now, can't talk about inner child healing without the mother and father wound, which is the main purpose of this video. But I will say that if you are completely new to this, first of all, if you're not feeling comfortable or confident, I would suggest working with someone to help you do this. So a trusted energy healer, like it could be me, it could be someone else, whoever resonates for you. And second of all, I would, if you've never done any kind of inner child healing before, I would just do that, what we just talked about, you talking one-on-one to your inner child and sending them healing. And then I would leave it alone for a little bit. You need to integrate. I wouldn't do that inner child healing and then dive into the mother and the father wound right away. There is such a thing as overexposure or oversaturation to energy healing, to self-healing. If you go too hard, too fast, and sometimes, like, I get it, it can be exciting. It can be really exciting to, you know, start this journey. It could be hard and scary too, of course, but it can be exciting once you start to get stuff, and once you things start coming in, or you're starting to see stuff and you're starting to heal stuff and bring in that healing that you might want to go and just like, let's just dive in, let's just figure this out, let's go all the way to the bottom of the well and build myself back up. But it's really important that you take breaks and that you integrate. And that's what I tell people too when they come to see me. One of the most popular questions I get from people after they've come to see me is like, when should I come back? How often do people come to see you? And my answer for that is always whenever you feel like you need a session. I let other people decide. I don't necessarily say you got to come back next week, you got to come back to see me 3 or 4 more times. I just say, go away from this, let yourself integrate, let yourself process, let the energy, because the energy is going to continue to come up and release right after a session. That's why, I mean, energy work affects everyone differently. Sometimes there's temperature changes in the room. You might feel really cold or really hot. You might feel really tired afterwards, like you need a nap, and you might feel none of those things. You might feel completely fine. But another thing that you might feel is really sensitive after healing. So I always tell people it takes like 24 to 48 hours after a session to really kind of process and integrate all of the stuff coming up. So if you're really sensitive about something, or something happens, I always tell people, like, don't fret. Don't be like, oh, I had this amazing healing yesterday, but today this happened and I'm all, you know, like triggered or upset or angry about this, so now it's all gone to shit because now this and this is happening. It's like, no, that's actually part of the healing, that this stuff is continuing to sort of just cycle, almost like a energetic detox out of the body. So whatever comes into your awareness, the immediate days following a healing, is really important to know that that's part of the healing. So not to shame yourself or guilt yourself about that, or try to suppress that, because it's like we've opened some channels of flow so that wounding or excess wounding or deeper level wounding can continue to ooze out for the 24 to 48 hours. So the key to that is acceptance, accepting how you feel. So I accept that I feel angry about this, or that I feel sad, or that I'm missing this person, or whatever it is. Just accept how you're feeling. This is good advice in general, but especially after a healing session. Accept how you're feeling. Allow those energies and emotions to just give them somewhere to go. Give them somewhere to go. Don't try to name them. Don't think about them. Don't try to keep them in here. Cry, scream, yell, get them out. Just allow yourself the grace of feeling and processing those emotions, so that they can continue to come out of the body, and the body can continue to level back down and come back into center. So I definitely would say, do not do too much too soon, too fast, because there's also, like, let's be realistic, there's an element here of I believe we're spiritual beings in a body, in a vessel, but we are still humans. We still have things to do. There are still chores and grocery lists and bills and jobs and just real life, realistic things that we need to have in the 3D world. So like anything, we need to have balance. So if we are too into the spiritual stuff, or too into the energy healing, or too into the self-healing, and we go, but we don't give ourselves rests or breaks, time to integrate, or time to just, you know, veg out on the couch or be human, or just go see your friends and not talk about, like, times to not talk about healing at all, it can result in burnout. It can also result in a leaky field because you're doing it too much. You're not giving the aura time to integrate, the energy body time to integrate. So it starts to sort of exasperate itself, or they're showing me like it just sort of starts to just spread out too thin, because you're not creating boundaries with your time, and you're not allowing, like, taking yourself out of the healing sessions to allow the aura to heal and integrate from what you uncovered that day, which I would imagine would be similar to like a therapy session. Like afterwards, like you need to integrate, you need time to integrate. Now, I mean, it totally depends on your individual needs, what kind of therapy you need. Maybe there are periods of time, or there are people that literally do need therapy every single day, and they have their own cases and own stuff going on. But generally, someone who just, and I'm just speaking from my experience, someone I've been in therapy, I went to therapy before, it's like I would go and then I would need a period of integration, similar to the healing. When I started doing energy healing or going to energy healers, it's like I would go and then I would need a break. It wouldn't be good for me to open up those wounds and open up that stuff, that heavy stuff, like every single day or every single week, because they still had to function in the real world. So it's important to bring that balance in, because you don't want to lose your footing here in the physical world, right? You want to be here, you want to be in your body, you want to take up space, you have to be able to do the physical stuff, your responsibilities here in the world, and then balancing that with the energy healing. So it's really important to have balance. Wow, we're really getting into a lot of stuff. I'm looking at my timer, I'm like, we're already 25 minutes into this video. If you are still here and still watching along, that is amazing. Thank you so much. Please drop a like or a comment if this video is resonating for you or is helpful for you in any way. I'm gonna take a breather, take a drink of water. And we're gonna get into the mother wound. We're gonna start with the mother wound first. So I feel like I could make a video just on the mother wound and a video just on the father wound. And maybe I will one day if I feel called, or if that's something you would like, please leave a comment below. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to lightly touch on both. But basically, when we talk about the mother wound and the... Sorry about that, my camera just fell. My stand, just fell. Welcome back. So yeah, we're talking about the mother wound and the father wound. So what are the mother wound and the father wound? Basically, the mother wound and the father wound are energetic, emotional, spiritual, could be mental, could even be physical, wounding that we have left over from our childhood, from our mother and our father. And generally, if we are unhealed and unconscious, we will subconsciously, as adults, pick or call in or attract partners who are vibrationally the same as the parent we have with the most wounding. And until you start to do the work, going to therapy, energy healing, whatever other resources resonate for you, but until you start doing the work like a little detective, just uncovering these little bits and parts of yourself, start to get curious about why you are attracting or picking similar vibrational patterns in your relationships, your romantic relationships. This is just going to talk about romantic relationships, not friendships. Until you start to become more conscious of your choices, you're going to continue to repeat these patterns, and you're going to continue to have the same issues in your intimate relationships over and over and over again. The people will change, they might look different, but vibrationally, it will be the same. Now, everybody has, I believe, a mother wound and a father wound to some extent. Some are more than others. And also, I also want to acknowledge that having the mother or the father wound doesn't mean that you had a bad mom or a bad dad. And maybe some of you did have some neglectful or abusive or really just not supportive parents. But maybe some of you did have or do currently have some really lovely parents, but there's still some wounding there. So I believe that regardless of whether you might have had really good parents or not, there's still a wounding there from either one, and some have a lesser degree than others, but I think just becoming aware of that. So let's give an example of that. And also I want to say too, if we're talking about straight relationships, like a man and a woman, a classic example would be that, if the woman has a father wound of a neglectful or emotionally detached father, she is going to date or be attracted to men, or is more likely to date or be attracted to men that give her that same feeling. And vice versa for a straight man, if he has a mother wound of not feeling supported by his mother, or an overbearing mother, or an overly critical mother, he is more likely to be vibrationally attracted to women who carry that same vibration. Now, do I think it's exclusive to if it's a straight male and female, that the female's picking out guys just for the father wound and the guys just picking out mother wound? No. I believe that it's wherever the most wounding is. So if there is, it's more likely to be if you're straight, it's more likely to be of the opposite gender, that's who the parent is, where the wounding is. But some people might have a really good relationship connection with their mother, but there's more wounding with their father. So if a man hasn't felt supported emotionally by his father, it's also, he could also call in a partner, a female partner that carries that vibration of detachment from the father. But it seems to be more likely of the opposite gender. Now, when you get into like gay couples, I don't actually know. Let me see if I can tap in and channel it. I still feel, yeah, it feels like it's more, hang on. Like what I hear from that is like it's wherever the biggest wounding is. So it doesn't, okay, thank you. I'm feeling that it's not exclusive to gender or sexual orientation. It's basically wherever the biggest wounding is, we will subconsciously or vibrationally seek that out. And why does that happen? Well, from an energy point of view, and this is not new information. I'm not giving any new information here. There's a lot of like books and resources on these things and these relationship patterns that we pick. But the reason I believe why we subconsciously will choose these people is because we are reenacting that dynamic from our childhood where there was such wounding. And the reason we're calling that in to relive that again as an adult is because it's subconsciously we're trying to bring healing to that situation. So if that woman can finally get that emotionally distant and detached man to love her back because she felt that her dad didn't love her the way she needed or whatever her wounding is there, but if she finally gets that guy to love her back, then it's like she has proved that she is worthy. But if we were to zoom out on that from an energy point of view and we're looking down at the energies that are playing out, that's coming in as an opportunity for healing, but really the actual healing in that situation is her doing inner child work and healing and working on healing that father wound so that she changes the frequency around her wounding with that. So that when she really goes into that and she heals that and she alchemizes that and she brings in higher wisdom, compassion, action, love, and understanding into her relationships with men or how she relates to men and even healing her own divine masculine energy on the right side of the body, bringing that into balance and harmony actually will change her frequency. And her realizing also coming into this surrender or acceptance piece that we can't change anybody. We cannot change anybody. We can't say the right things, do the right things. We can't fix people, but we can't also do the right thing so that they love us. Like if we just did this, or if they just did that, and then we could be together and then they'll finally love us and accept us. We can't. So when she finally comes into this realization that she can't fix him, she can't change him and make him show up for her the way she wishes he did, the way she needs him to, going back to the way she needed her father to be there for her. When she just accepts him for as he is, but then honors herself, that is not enough for her, but thank you for reflecting that back to me for what I needed to see and know and heal and alchemize within myself. And when she walks away from that connection, when she realizes she's no longer serving, it's no longer serving her, but also it's a big piece of this with the inner child mother-father wounding is self-esteem and self-love and just knowing what you deserve and having the courage, confidence, and trust to walk away from something if it's not in alignment for you, and making sure we're not dating somebody's potential. We're dating how they're coming in and how they're showing up for us. So once she realizes all of that stuff and chooses herself, chooses source, universe, God, that just chooses a higher vibrational way of living, she alchemizes that wound, she shifts the frequency around it, and she's raised her vibration so that now she will carry subconsciously a frequency or a vibration where she will be calling in different types of men that are carrying different frequencies that are a bit more in alignment, or not a bit more, a lot more in alignment with what it is that she needs. So it's like the frequency of her old patterns are here, unconscious, subconscious, and then she's alchemized it so she's here. So when I say that, I don't want you to think that it's better, like that she's better than him, right? That she's better than these old relationships or all these men that she's dated. It's not a power thing. It's not a hierarchy thing. It's just a frequency thing. Down here is just a lot of unconscious stuff, a lot of baggage, a lot of people that are wounded and in need of healing, but it doesn't mean they're less than the people that are different frequencies up here. It just means they're carrying heavier energies with them and doing pattern after pattern after pattern until in their own way, in their own divine timing, they become more conscious and start to shift and change. And it's also believing that you're worthy, believing in yourself, and believing and trusting the universe that if you do this work and you call this in, that someone of more alignment will be able to come in for you. So when you're at that, when you've alchemized this wound, whether it's the mother or the father wound, I'm just using this one as an example. It's like you're on this different frequency, and it's a lot lighter, it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot brighter. And it's like you won't even, it's like oil and water. It's like you won't even run into these people anymore, or these men or potential partners anymore that carry this frequency. They're not even going to be able to find you because you're just in a different frequency. You would just pass each other in the bar or the grocery store and just not even being attracted to those kinds of men or energies anymore because you've alchemized the wound. You've gone to the root of the wound. So that's why it's really important, and I really believe in doing this work, because you can do all the affirmations that you want. You can read all the books that you want on this, and you can try to manifest this as hard as you want, but unless you actually open up that door with a magnifying glass and look at why you're choosing these types of partners if they haven't been aligned for you, unless you start to really understand that, go back to the origin point of the root of this wounding and start to work on healing it, releasing it, alchemizing it. Until you do that, you're going to continue to be attracted to these people that might not be in alignment for your highest good. Yeah, okay. Well, I think those are pretty good examples and information. Yeah, I'm just going through my notes, what I wrote, to make sure that I hit all these topics today. Oh yeah. So the other thing that I want to talk about is I want to explain the mirroring effect of relationships. So we've all heard, I'm sure a lot of you have heard, like, the spiritual teaching, like relationships are mirrors, everyone is a mirror. We're all fabrics of the thread of consciousness, so we're all reflecting things back to each other. So what you see in someone else is also in you. And if it's something bad or negative and you see it in someone else, it's like, what parts of me are like of that vibration, and do I need to do some healing? So there's that teaching, which is important. And it is in romantic relationships where we have the most, it is one of the greatest opportunities in romantic relationships for the most healing to be done, because of the intimacy of these romantic relationships and how they mirror back to us and how they can trigger us or old wounds in us. So another thing that I wrote down to talk about is you could also be very aware of maybe your parents or parent, the wounding that you have there, and completely intentionally go out of your way to find a partner that is nothing like your mother or your father, or nothing like, you know, the relationship that they had that you saw growing up, if it wasn't healthy or whatever. You could go out of your way to choose a partner who is not like them, or yeah. But as the relationship progresses, even if they're not vibrationally the same as your mother or father, and you've done the work and you've chosen that, even if you haven't done, I feel like if you're going to choose that, you've had to have done some form of work. Your partner can still reflect back to you vibrational fragments of the energy connection with the mother and father, that energetic wounding. So from time to time, let's say you never felt supported by your parents. So you made sure that I'm never going to be with someone that doesn't support me. I have to feel supported and loved in my relationship. And however that looks like for you to feel supported. But from time to time, or if there's disagreements with your partner, and you're seeing it through that lens of the wounding, and it could be true that they could be a little more supportive sometimes of some things, right? Like, we also want to hold people accountable for things if we're having issues with stuff. But if when we get really emotionally triggered within the relationship and it's coming up that it's like you don't feel supported by them, really, and that's where discernment comes in, and that's why like therapy is amazing too, because you could also bounce this off someone else, or, you know, go to your friends, bounce this off your friends as well. But it's really important to discern, like, okay, are they actually not supporting me in this moment, or is this triggering something in me vibrationally from my mother or father wound? And is it coming up to the surface? Is it coming into my awareness? Because it's an opportunity for me to heal it, to clear it, to alchemize it. And is this true? Like, is the story that I'm telling myself about this situation, this disagreement, etc., is that true? Or are they actually a supportive partner in a lot of other ways, but this particular instance makes me feel unsupported and is bringing this up? So, you know, this conversation could go in so many different ways. So it's important to, you know, bring that up with your partner, bring it up how you're feeling, and talk about it. Healthy communication, right? Healthy relationship. But it's also important to own your piece in that and be like, okay, every time I feel slighted, am I seeing this through the lens of my wounding, or am I seeing this through the lens of reality? Yeah, and, you know, accepting how you feel, your emotions are valid, all of that stuff, but also holding yourself accountable and taking responsibility for your own healing, your own path, and your own wounding. Okay. Yeah, this is a lot longer than I thought. I thought this would be a cute little, like, 20-minute video, but it's not. But I'm gonna pull some cards just to finish. I feel like that's more than enough for today. If there's anything else, any questions you have, feel free to message me or email me or leave them in the comments. Yeah, I'm gonna pull a card. So I have the Archangel Oracle deck by Diana Cooper, artwork by Jane Delaford Taylor. So I have these cards here, and I'm just going to pick a card and be like, and ask, who can we work with when we do inner child healing? Oh, cool. Okay, so we also have, I feel called to pull 3 cards. Cool. Okay, so we have Archangel Zadkiel. It's time for transmutation. Carry the violet flame. Absolutely, violet flame. Healing as well. Very cool. I see violet flame healing as like the karmic flame, karmic healing. So yeah, if there's anything karmic to get healed, relationships can have all sorts of past life ties, connections, karma. There can be all kinds of stuff with relationships for that. So thank you for that reminder. And next we have Archangel Raguel. I hope I'm saying that right. Be fair in all situations, resolve your conflicts. Absolutely. And he's got the scales, the balance scales, so balancing. And going back to that original message as well of balancing healing with taking breaks. And then we have Archangel, I hope I say this right, Preminilik. I have never heard of that one. That's a really beautiful card. Also, hello, Emerald Ray, green, beautiful. Be conscientious, cooperate with others for the highest good. I mean, those are 3 pretty bang on cards for everything we were just talking about. So also, yeah, I'm also getting for this card with the Violet Flame and Archangel Zadkiel, bringing that in to your meditations and your healing. If you're having conflicts with your romantic relationships, to connect with Zadkiel, Violet Flame, to help you detach and get some higher, more neutral, higher ground perspective on the conflict, to help you to be able to discern between like what is true and what is being looked at through the wounds, the lens of your wounding. Okay, that feels complete. However, one more card I want to pull because I had my eye on it earlier. I brought a couple decks out because I wasn't sure which ones I was going to use. But this relationship oracle, I mean, come on. I pulled this out today because I was like, we're going there. We're talking about relationships and wounding and inner child healing. So I want to just pull one card. I'm just going to clear the space. Also going to... I forgot to say, I do have a new spray coming out this Tuesday, the full harvest moon. So if you follow my Instagram or you're on my newsletter, you can subscribe below or check out the links below or go on my website. But there will be a new spray, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's a surprise, but it's a good one. All right, so what is one final message from Spirit about today? Okay, so we got curiosity, beautiful rainbow ray colors, and flower shape. The frequency of curiosity supports our intrinsic inquisitive nature, which is the necessary driving force behind any growth and evolution. That is a beautiful, beautiful final card. So being curious about your patterns, your relationship choices and habits, if they haven't been very healthy for you or aligned for you in the past, just really getting curious behind the why, or the root as to why you start to do, why you're doing what you're doing. And if it's not working, how can you start to look at it so you can start to shift it, getting curious about yourself and your wounding. And when we do this work, we're not judging. Really important, don't judge yourself, just allow what is, just observe neutrally, and take yourself sort of above and observe the energies playing out in your life and start to get curious from that point of view. Okay, this video is almost an hour long. I think this is like one of my longest videos ever. So thank you so much for watching this far. If you've watched this entire video, please give it a like, a subscribe, a comment if it resonated. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something, and I wish you all the best on your healing journey, and know that it is possible to heal anything at any time, to alchemize anything, and to empower yourself with the knowledge that you can shift the energy around anything at any given moment. So even if you're having a shitty day, using your breath to shift that energy and bring in allowance, love, and peace. Okay, that's it for me. Namaste. Ciao.